You know that image? I feel like it's probably the most dangerous image in all of travel marketing.
I have a feeling I know exactly where you're going with this. The Instagram version.
The Instagram version, exactly. You're scrolling, it's late January, and bam, there it is, Canada in February.
Oh, yeah. The snowflakes are just sort of drifting down politely.
Yes, politely. There's a cute little layer of fluff on a rooftop. Someone's holding a mug of cocoa wearing wool socks.
Staring out a window, it looks peaceful.
It looks compliant. That's the word. It looks like nature is behaving.
Like a greeting card.
Exactly. And today's deep dive is basically dedicated to shattering that illusion into a million little frozen pieces.
I love it.
Because we're looking at a really fun source today. It's a blog post titled A Short Course in Canadian Winter Physics.
It's by Roberta Hill from a site called Wanderlust Over 70. And let me just say, Roberta is not trying to sell you a travel package.
No, she is not. This piece, it was published back on February 3rd, 2026. And it's basically a field guide to reality.
It's not about how to build a shelter or anything like that. It's about the physics of just existing. Existing in a landscape that, as she puts it, has a very distinct personality.
And what is that personality? Because from the pictures, it seems lovely.
According to Roberta, the personality is, I've been here longer than you.
I love that. It's so humbling. It sets the tone perfectly.
It does.
So our mission today is to unpack Roberta's 3 laws of Canadian winter. We're going to talk about the physics of walking.
Without falling.
Without destroying a dignity.
Yeah.
Then the sensory shift that happens when it gets truly cold. And this very specific kind of bizarre ritual.
Involving car mud flaps.
Which sounds weird, but it's much more important than it sounds.
It's the emotional climax of the piece, really.
It really is. But let's start with the basics. The most fundamental human movement. Walking.
Right.
Roberta argues that everything you think you know about walking, everything you've learned since you were, a year old? It goes right out the window.
Oh, yeah. She calls it the first law of nature. And the core problem is, well, it's deception.
The snow looks innocent.
It looks innocent. It looks like a sidewalk. It looks like there's friction. But underneath, it's plotting against you.
Okay, so how do we survive the plot? Because I think of myself as a confident walker. I live in a city. I stride. I have places to be.
And that right there, that's striding. That's what's going to take you down, literally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bro.
Roberta breaks down the physics, and it's a complete overhaul of your body mechanics. The first thing that has to go is the lean.
The lean.
Think about it. When you're walking in a city, you're late for a train, you're leaning forward.
You're using momentum.
Exactly. You're basically in a controlled fall, and your foot catches you. That works on dry concrete where there's friction.
But on ice.
On ice, there's basically no friction.
Right.
So if you lean forward, your foot doesn't catch. It
shoots backward.
It shoots backward, and your face shoots forward.
Yeah.
A simple vector physics.
Okay, that sounds painful. So my instinct would be, okay, I'm scared, I'll lean back.
Also fatal.
Mhm.
She says you can't do that either. If you lean back, she says you look like you've already accepted your fate.
Huh.
And it's the same problem in reverse. Your feet shoot forward, you land on your tailbone, dignity gone.
So what's the solution? Just stand perfectly still.
You have to keep your weight perfectly centered, a straight vertical line over your body.
Like a toy soldier. But I still have to move.
You do, but not with a stride. And the source is very, very specific about this. Canadians don't stride. They place.
They place. That sounds so tentative.
It's calculated. You have to shorten your steps a lot. You're not reaching out with your heel. You're lifting your foot and landing it flat directly under your center of gravity.
One careful step at a time.
One careful commitment at a time. Yeah.
This is painting a picture for me. It's not. It's not very elegant, is it?
It is decidedly uncool. The source has a fantastic analogy for it. She says you need to think penguin with a purpose.
Penguin with a purpose. I love that.
Yes. Isn't it perfect? I mean, think about it. Penguins live on ice. Have you ever seen a penguin striding?
No, they waddle.
They waddle. They keep their center of gravity shifting directly over the planted foot. They minimize any horizontal force. That's what you have to do.
So you have to let go of any idea of looking cool.
Oh, completely. As Roberta writes, elegance is optional. Staying upright is the entire goal.
It's funny, penguins never seem to slip in those nature documentaries, do they?
Nope, because their center of gravity is always over their feet. And that brings us to the biggest enemy in all of this.
Which is?
Momentum.
Momentum is the enemy.
It's the enemy. Normally walking is fluid. You use momentum to flow into the next step. Here, momentum is just a force that's waiting to knock you over.
So you have to kill it.
You kill with every step. Step, pause, step, Pause.
It sounds exhausting.
It's more mentally exhausting than anything. You have to be so aware. You can't be on your phone.
And she says this gets even worse in certain places. She mentions Montreal.
Ah, yes, Montreal, the city of the freeze-thaw cycle.
What's that?
Well, in some places, it just gets cold, and it stays cold. The snow packs down, it's crunchy, you can walk on it.
Right, like walking on styrofoam.
Exactly. But in Montreal, it'll snow, then it gets a little warmer during the day so it melts into water. Then it freezes hard overnight into a sheet of pure ice.
And then more snow covers it up.
So you have layers.
A treacherous lasagna.
Very dangerous lasagna, yeah. She says the sidewalks after an ice storm look like they've been polished by a Zamboni.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's the machine that makes ice rinks perfectly, terrifyingly slippery.
Exactly. And this is where we get to the gear fallacy.
Oh, I am so guilty of this. You go to the store, you buy the biggest, most expensive, most rugged boots you can find.
The Arctic Explorer 5000.
Yes, the ones that look like they belong on a tank. And you feel invincible.
And Roberta's here to tell you that's a lie.
Oh, come on, don't tell me that. I spent good money on those boots.
I know.
I need the placebo effect to work at least.
Well, the source is pretty brutal on this. She just says, flat out, footwear is a lie.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you're dressed to, as she puts it, climb Everest or invade a glacier.
Invade a glacier, that is such a great image.
It is. But if you hit that Zamboni polished ice, the rubber, the tread, none of it matters. Physics wins.
So even with the expensive boots,
Yeah.
what do?
You penguin.
You penguin.
You penguin. You shuffle, you widen your stance, you adopt a walk that basically signals to everyone you pass.
I respect gravity now.
I respect gravity now. That needs to be on a t-shirt. It's like a spiritual submission.
It is. And she has this great little anecdote where she admits she went outside one day feeling super confident.
And then
halfway down the block, she realized her only goal had shifted from getting where I'm going to don't fall where anyone I know can see me.
that is so relatable. It's not the fall. It's the embarrassment, the flailing arms.
It's the dignity. Okay, so we've established walking is a nightmare. The ground is a trap, your boots are a lie, and you have to walk like a flightless bird. Why? Why does anyone stay there?
That's the pivot. Because if it were just miserable, nobody would live there. But Roberta introduces her second law here, the reward.
There has to be a payoff for all this.
There is. And it's sensory. She talks about when you get that perfect, fresh, cold snow. Not slush, the real stuff.
It changes the sound, right?
It changes the physics of sound. She calls it the soft, dry crunch of footsteps. Almost otherworldly.
So what's happening there?
Well, if you think about it, fresh snow is porous. It's like acoustic foam in a recording studio. It dampens sound.
Ah, so it absorbs the sound waves instead of bouncing them around like concrete would.
Exactly. Concrete reflects noise. Snow absorbs it. So the whole city, it doesn't just look different.
It sounds different.
It goes quiet. The traffic, the ambient hum, it all gets dialed way, way down.
I like that. The silence forces a psychological shift.
Your thoughts slow down.
Yeah.
You can't rush physically, so you stop rushing mentally.
That's interesting.
But Roberta describes it as winter being on its best behavior. And it's that moment where you look around and you think, this is why people defend you.
It's like a toxic relationship, isn't it? It abuses you for 3 months, but then it does something beautiful and you think, oh, maybe you're not so bad.
It's complicated. And she says, even in those moments, she still walks carefully. But not out of fear.
Out of what?
Out of appreciation.
Fear versus appreciation. That's a really nice distinction. Same action, different mindset.
It is.
Yeah.
But we can't stay in the poetic zone forever because winter isn't just silence. It's also sludge.
And this brings us to the third law.
The ritual.
The ritual. When I read this part of the source, I actually laughed out loud. Because it sounds completely unhinged if you've never experienced it.
But if you have, you get it.
We are talking, of course, about the mud flap kick.
The mud flap kick.
Walk us through the physics of this. What is actually happening?
Okay, so you're driving through all this slush and snow and salt. Your tires pick it up and just fling it backward.
Right into the wheel well.
Into the wheel well, against the mud flap. And because it's so cold, it just builds up. It accumulates.
It's in these big, gray, frozen chunks.
Grotesque, frozen stalactites of slush is how I'd put it.
It's like a tumor made of road salt hanging off your car.
A perfect description. And the source says getting rid of it isn't just something you do. It's deliberate.
You have to size it up.
You do. You spot it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You assess it. And then, and this is key, you test it lightly.
Why the test? Why not just go for the full karate kick? Get it over with.
Because of the risk. This is the gamble. Sometimes that slush has frozen into a solid block of ice, and if you kick that with full force,
You break your toes.
break your toes. As Roberta writes, yes, that hurts. Winter enjoys reminders.
Winter is just cruel. It sets traps even on your own car.
But, and this is the but that keeps everyone kicking,
Hmm?
because sometimes you catch it at the perfect moment.
Sweet spot.
The source describes it as soft enough to move, heavy enough to matter, and when you kick it, and it breaks away clean.
Oh, that satisfaction, that heavy thud crunch when it hits the pavement.
Roberta calls it emotional closure.
Emotional closure. That is a very heavy term for kicking frozen sludge off a Honda Civic.
But think about it. You've been shuffling around like a penguin, terrified of gravity. You've been lied to by the sidewalks. You have zero control over your environment.
But this?
This you can control. You kick the car, the ice falls off. For 1 second, you win.
That's so true. It's a small victory against the elements. You're reclaiming your agency.
And she admits she does this everywhere. Grocery stores, parking lots. She even says she's been caught quietly cheering myself on.
Yes. Take that, slush.
This private little moment of triumph.
I love the image of this writer who's talking about mindfulness and appreciation, just winding up and booting a chunk of ice off her car with pure, unadulterated aggression.
It's the duality of the winter experience, right? You have the poetic silence, and you have the violent satisfaction of the mud flap kick. You need both.
So let's tie this all together. Let's say one of our listeners is planning a trip. Montreal, maybe Banff, in February. What is the final takeaway from Roberta's wisdom?
Well, practical stuff is clear. Pack the good boots, but don't trust them.
Right. Footwear is a lie.
Shorten your stride. Center your weight.
Be a penguin with a purpose.
And mentally, bring a sense of humor. Because you're going to slip. You're going to look silly. The landscape does not care.
It's been here longer than you.
Exactly. But I think the deeper lesson from the source is about that dual perspective. Roberta says, snow is beautiful, ice is a liar.
You have to hold both truths at the same time.
You do. You can't just have the Instagram version, and you can't just have the grim survivalist version. You need both to really do winter properly.
And if you happen to walk past a car with a big, ugly chunk of ice behind the wheel.
Proceed with caution. Give it a light test tap with your toe.
But if it's ready, if it gives just a little.
Then give it a good kick. For emotional closure.
That's fantastic advice. You know, it makes me think that mud flap kick, it's kind of a metaphor for life, isn't it?
How so?
We all have these buildups
Huh?
of stuff, annoyances, stress, the daily grind. It just accumulates behind our wheels.
It does. And we just carry it around, letting it freeze up and get heavier.
And sometimes you just need to find that one tangible thing, that one frozen chunk of nuisance, and just give it a good, hard kick to clear the system.
Just make sure it's not frozen solid first. You don't want to break your foot on your own problem.
Always test it first. That's sage advice for everything.
Always test it first.
So, to you, our listener, next time you're facing a harsh environment, whether it's a literal Canadian blizzard or just a really tough week, ask yourself, what is my mud flap kick? What's that small, slightly destructive, but incredibly satisfying act that lets me claim a tiny victory back from the chaos?
And if you find yourself feeling an unreasonable sense of pride after doing it,
Then, as Roberta would say, you're finally doing it properly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay upright, everyone.
and watch your step.